I started my YouTube back successful. I only got up to 20 something subscribers. I know, right? I tried to do multiple channels. I didn't have us to do the ones that might have been okay, or thinking it would be my differentiator, and it made me so different that nobody gave a shit. All that success, and I built a content OS with Claude code, not software, Claude shenanigans. Now, you're probably thinking, why did you do this? I mean, you had everything you needed, right? Well, no. Every time I would start a new session, I would basically start from zero. Claude wouldn't remember who I was, what we were building, what we were doing. It had zero memory and zero context. And I'm only one person trying to run a YouTube channel. And I've got a day job. I work in IT, so there's a lot of after hours work. There's a lot of nights, weekends, and holidays. And then you'd come home and type something in, and Claude would be like, what are you talking about? I had to do something. Then saw something on YouTube that could help. Nate Herc, and if you ever get a chance to watch this, Nate, I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name, but he published a video called Make Claude an Executive Assistant in 27 minutes. And so I watched it, and I took his principles, and I thought, I could do this. Here's what I did. Or here was the premise of the video, was basically, if Claude can read files, well, those files are the memory. Not an application, not a database, just a folder versioned in Git. And this concept was valid. So I built mine on March 6th. In April, Kaparthi named the pattern the LLM Wiki. And then last June, Google standardized it with the open knowledge format, where they literally said a folder beats the vector database. I'm not the inventor, but I was a very, very early adopter. So how does one folder run the entire operation? Well, it carries my identity and context, who I am, my voice, my personality, my current priorities, the operating instructions that Claude reads on load. It's got over 58 repeatable workflows, and what those are behavioral rules, hooks, repeatable work encoded that runs the same way every time. I've got 96 facts that persist in memory. They only append the decision log so that it can't rewrite history. I keep a to-dos list and run logs. I've also got production tooling, and so there's 39 automation scripts that run everything from Bash, Python, and Lua. Lua in DaVinci Resolve, so we can render videos, build thumbnails. Claude talks to anti-gravity CLI, and it even uploads the videos to YouTube. It knows who and how to behave. So on load every session, so I don't have to re-explain myself, it reads files that say who I am, my constraints, how I decide what I decide, what's coming up next, what I need to work on, what my goals are, and then there are guardrails put in. I've got ADHD, and I will research something and keep researching it and overthinking it and making it complicated, and it'll remind me, hey, this is good enough, it meets all your requirements, ship it. Claude pisses me off when it invents shit, so it's got a do not fabricate rule, and I've actually got a skill coming up that helps call it on its fabrications, and then it updates it so it can't do it again. I've got cleanup scripts that make sure we don't leave orphan files, and then everything operates on a decision loop that's observe, verify, and learn, and it repeats continuous improvement, continuous development. Now, I've got 58 skills that are tracked every time they run, and the operating system grades its own tools. If I do something more than once, it becomes a skill. Every time they run, everything gets logged and gets scored. Now, the one that I use with every session is the one I call close session. And what that does is it makes sure all the right documentation, my dashboards, all my to-dos, everything is written into the right locations. YouTube pipeline ran it as for part of this video. LLM Council was based off Perplexity's Model Council, same concept, multiple different agents running different viewpoints that write their own reviews of whatever topic you ask it to, and they all come from different viewpoints. There's an arbitrator that then gathers what they agreed on, what they disagreed, and provides a ultimate recommendation. I've got a sounding board, ask strategic questions. What can I learn from certain articles, repos, videos? Is there anything worth incorporating? How can I modify my own to be better? The one that I use to call Claude on its crap is Black Box. And I named it Black Box because after the black box in an airplane that contains all the data, what they look for right after an accident. Anytime I can't remember something, or if I think Claude's full of shit, I run the black box skill and I look for that thing that we were discussing, and it goes back, goes through all of our sessions, goes through all of our files, goes through all of our memories, and finds the truth. And then if it's wrong, it fixes it. If I'm wrong, I go, my bad, and we move on. Now, with the decision loop that it's got running in it on every session, it gets smarter without having to re-explain. That's why I've got so many memory files and why it doesn't rewrite history and keeps all the decisions logged. So it's append-only. It's not a suggestion box. The folder shape is the commodity. The governance is the moat. The operating system uses two different graphs. It uses Graphify and Understand Anything, so that questions hit a graph, they are not grepped. Understand Anything is the high-level explanation. It does a 12-step tour in plain English of your folder structure. It goes to the documents and components. It will see the layers, what depends on what, the documents. It's built for comprehension. You can ask it to teach me this system from scratch. On the other hand, Graphify can see all the fine details. So you get every fine-grained function, every file, all the way down to the individual calls. It reads the real structure of the code. It doesn't read just text. It gets the rationale. There's 12 relationship types, references, calls. It's built so that you can say, where is X, what calls Y, what's the shortest path from A to B. That picture there with all the 7,962 nodes, that's a real screenshot taken today from Graphify. Together, Graphify and Understand Anything allow Claude to be my second brain. And you know what happened? I broke my brain. Yep. Just like the TBI I had, I did the same thing to Claude. The graph hit 9,772 nodes. I had a file in the Git history that was committed over and over, which caused bloat, which caused it to fail. So I had to do a purge. I had to take all the extra weight out of the brain so that it could function again. So I've got 3 agents that audited the OS that runs them. I asked for the first agent to say which skills reference things that no longer exist. The second one looked for seams. Where do the handoffs drop? Workflows. Where do they break? And then do the skills match how the work actually happened? What I learned was the root cause, the skills were keeping frozen copies of embedded snapshots and never moved in real time and read the files they were supposed to. So in one day, we fixed over 30 fixes. The OS caught its own rot. Dead CTAs had shipped for a week because copy was frozen inside the skills. That's the kind of crap that can't happen. What did I build? Well, I built one dashboard that shows the truth. It shows what fires without me, the context injection, the Graphify hooks, the memory recall, the daily nudge, the files on command, close session, pipeline, understand anything, do all the judgment calls. Scripts start from my words, not Claude. I record, Claude helps. The person test, could any other channel have made this? And then, of course, how I decide things and how I encode things, Claude doesn't replace. I use a dashboard. I monitor my token usage. I monitor what's working well. For fun, I've got the YouTube partner program stats on there. And yeah. And last but not least, what I really use it for mostly is keeping track of the work that I need to do so I can stay focused. Hope you guys can get some use out of this. And like Nate helped me, I hope I can help you pay it forward to somebody else. Take care. Have a good one. See you in the next video.